3, 2, 1.
Who are you?
It doesn't matter who we are. What matters is our plan. No one cared who I was till I put on the mask.
Welcome to 50/50 Media with your host, Lord Koss, joined by Senek, Stanen, and Normie. Hello and welcome to episode 3 of The Bait, The Bad, and The Woke. The subject of today's video is Prey, the latest installment in the Predator franchise. Now I have to start this off by saying the marketing for this movie certainly did it a disservice. When we all first saw the trailer, we figured we were in for another franchise bomb, a bunch of woke messaging and whatnot. Then after watching it, we were pleasantly surprised. While it did have some things you could call woke or pandering, overall, we all thought it was a pretty decent film. Not anything too amazing, but it certainly was a lot better than we expected. And some of the elements in it were really well done. So let's kick this off with Normie. Why don't you fill us in on the premise?
Okay, well, the story, it starts back in the 1700s, I think. The main character is Naru. She's a Comanche woman, wanting to prove herself as a hunter. She figures out that there's something dangerous out there that might be hunting them. And it turns out she's right. There's a predator out there here to collect some trophies.
Don't mention the cannon fodder. You know, the French soldiers. But anyway, this movie was a lot better than I expected, and it had a lot going for it. The only change I would make is the group mentality. I've heard some other ideas from other people where they proposed that the tribe could have been working together. You could have still focused on Naru, but make it more of like an ensemble cast. Show the Comanches using some teamwork to overcome the Predator. And it would have made all the deaths more impactful. Like every time they lost somebody, it would have actually mattered. Right? And you could have had a conflict between the natives and the French trappers as well. And they end up having to band together as the Predator, dwindles both their parties apart. Or whittles both their parties down. But nothing's perfect, and this is definitely no exception. Well said. And I think another issue with this movie is the dialogue. It's just a little too modern. They should have committed to the Comanche version and made the dub English as a substitute. And that way it could have given them a subtle way of having them say stuff in a modern way, but everyone would also know it's just a translation. Anyway, Stanen, what are your thoughts? Well, first off, I'd like to address the criticism this film's getting, saying that the French are portrayed as filthy and the natives seem so clean. That's actually historically accurate. The natives that the Europeans met when they first started coming over here were very, very clean, and it was very surprising to them. They bathe often. They chew on things to brush their teeth. Even in this, we're shown Naru using a bone to kind of floss and clean her teeth. The Europeans, on the other hand, were essentially city boys out camping, and they were dirty, didn't have near the healthy diet that the natives had. They also chewed tobacco and drank alcohol and all that kind of stuff. They didn't really take care of themselves the way the natives did. So this depiction is actually very accurate. It's always nice when you see them put in some effort like that. It's always very respectable. However, I know we all felt that the Predator was a little bit off. Cynic, why don't you go into that? Yeah, so it's a mixed bag for the Predator. They redesigned his base look, and they redesigned the camouflage CGI, and both results were meh. Don't know why they couldn't have just kept it more similar to the original Predator. We get that all predators aren't the same. They aren't the exact same height, weight, whatnot, and it's fine having one that's even bigger, but their mandibles on their face, their mouths, it should have been a little bit closer. But you know what? It's not too bad. I'll give it a pass. And the cloaking wasn't all that great, but it wasn't that bad either. It doesn't take anything away from it, in my opinion. I do appreciate how they had the honor code in here. I feel like they use it more for plot convenience than out of respect for the source material. We do get some pretty cool scenes, though, but this one does seem a little more brutish and not quite so stealthy hunter in the trees kind of thing.
But I really like the action. The Predator was really beast mode all the way up until the very end. I loved it. I thought he was really good.
He was. And I know it's a bit of a divisive subject. Some are saying that the Predator is really stupid towards the end of the movie. and basically just lets the girl kill him, while others are arguing that he has taken a lot of damage, including a bullet to the brain, which I would have to agree with. I mean, I would agree with that too. And look, there are certainly issues with this entire thing, but compared to how modern media normally does this, this movie actually tries to justify itself. The main character is not perfect. I mean, she's pretty close, but she's not perfect. And then this movie mainly suffers from what we like to refer to as the Greenland problem.
Greenland.
If you haven't seen Greenland, Gerald Butler gets a lot of people killed while trying to achieve his goal. And in this, Naru's decisions lead to the death of most of the men in her tribe, including her brother. Now, they may have died anyway, that's arguable, but as far as this movie presents it, she gets them all killed. Yeah, that's very true. She decides to go help her brother with a lion. She gets the other hunter killed because he wouldn't have went back with her. That hadn't happened. She abandons her duties to the tribe, wanders off one morning, which in turn causes all the hunters to go out looking for her. Her brother's squad gets captured by the French, and I'm guessing they all get killed except for her brother. And the group that finds her gets killed by the Predator. And see, this leads to the honor code plot conveniences. There's many times it's basically telling us that the Predator doesn't see her as a threat because she's a female. That's kind of the message in today's modern media. But anyway, after that, the Predator kills all of her tribesmen. And she's about to get killed as well, but she runs into a bear trap, and Predator inspects the chains, realizes that she's in a trap, and leaves her alone. The French then capture her. And then we get her being in a cage at the French camp. But the way they did the dialogue was a little weird for me at first, not being able to understand what the French were saying. But after thinking about it, we all discussed it, but I think it was a good choice. It's supposed to be from Naru's point of view, and I understand, and I know she can't understand them, so we can't understand it, but you can infer what they're saying by their body language and their tone. It was an artistic choice. It may not have landed with everyone, but, at least we appreciated it. Then we get to the scene where the trappers try to use Naru and her brother as bait, and it doesn't quite go as planned. No, it certainly doesn't. And speaking of that, I was a little confused as how to the snipers didn't notice their buddies were getting taken out, but yeah. Naru figures out that the Predator doesn't want her and her brother because he wants a challenge, which does get represented quite a few times in this, where the Predator will wait for the other person or animal or whatever to make the first move. But yeah, then he proceeds to slaughter all of the French guys except 2 of them. Yeah, we get some pretty gruesome deaths. My favorite was probably the retracting net. That thing was just brutal. But Naru goes back to camp. She gets her pupper back. She kills a bunch of men. It was a little disjarring because she has never shown this level of combat experience and expertise, but she does it, kills a bunch of guys. She saves the dog, and she finds the French translator, and he agrees to help her, and he'll give her the pistol, and she just has to treat his wound. And it turns out to be the same pistol that was given to Danny Glover at the end of Predator 2. She gives him some of the medicine that was shown earlier that cools the blood, and this is where she realizes the Predator doesn't see heat, or sees by heat, I mean. The Predator kills the translator after stepping on him. The dog runs up, and before he shoots the doggo, her brother shows up. It was a pretty good fight. Guy stabs the Predator through his chest with his own spear, shoots arrows into him, but he does end up dying, and it gives Naru a chance to run away. She ends up finding one of the trappers, decides to use him as bait by giving him a weapon and getting the Predator to kill him. She used that plant medicine stuff that cools the blood, right, to make herself invisible to the Predator. She uses that opportunity to shoot him in the back of the head, and it knocks his mask off. And she takes it, leads him back to an area that she has all trapped up, and gets the Predator to shoot himself with his own cannon, which was kind of shitty, but I guess they make it work through what has been presented. And I doubt he was thinking clearly after taking so much damage, including a shot to the head. Yeah, I mean, I don't think I would be doing too well after a bullet to the brain. Yeah, it was a little clunky, but, it worked, and it gave her a way to actually beat him. But then she takes the head back to her tribe. She promoted to war chief, or whatever the title was, and, all the guys in her tribe are pretty much dead. When you look around, it's mostly all women. And there's a little post-credit animation suggesting that the Predators show up after the credits roll. But anyway, so that's kind of it. Let's go around and give our final thoughts. Cynic? So overall, not great, but it was good. Plenty of room for improvement story-wise. That said, what makes it so good is the setting. The natives look good, their culture seems decently represented. The cinematography was excellent, a lot of great scenic shots, practical effects shot on location. It makes a world of difference in today's media where everything is green screen. And for the most part, the main character, she isn't a Mary Sue, but still not the most likable protagonist. Overall, it's a better entry in the franchise than The Predator or Predators. I think we'd all have to agree that this is probably the third best Predator film, behind Predator 1 and 2. So we'll just rename it Predator 3. I can agree with that. Stannon? I'd have to agree with Cynic. The wide nature shots in this were beautiful. I really think that they tried to portray the world, or at the time, as fairly accurate as possible, with a few exceptions. I don't think Naru would have been able to rebel against her tribe with no repercussions. I do want to talk about the pistol. So I know there's a comic out there that shows how the Predators got the pistol, but I'm not completely against this interpretation. I do wish they would have shown the Predators coming down and interacting with her, because I think what happened is they come down and they present her with a trophy for winning, and I could see her giving the pistol to them in return, as some native cultures believed they were, if they're given a gift, they should give one in return. And that's how I see it playing out. But yeah, same thought. It's Predator 3. Makes it easy to rank since it's the third best. See, yeah, they should have shown that interaction, because now we may never know. And most people speculate that they came down and wiped out the tribe and took the gun. Though I would have to agree with your version based off their honor code and kind of what we saw happen at the end of the Predator 2 movie. Me too. As for why that didn't happen with Dutch in Predator 1, I would guess that maybe they thought he died in the blast, but I can't back that up with any evidence. Anyway, Normie, you want to finish this up?
I really liked this movie. I think I liked it the most out of all of us, and I felt that the story wasn't that bad. And I'll take the hot take. I think this was better than Predator 2.
Really? Certainly is a hot take.
Okay. Wow, Normie.
Well,
yeah.
That's it for this video, folks.
Right.
I hope to see you all in the next one. Remember to like, subscribe, and comment down below. Tell us what you think. Until next time, we are 50/50 Media. Well, that's it for this video. If you like what you saw here today, I do encourage you to hit that like button, the subscribe button, and ring the notification bell so you'll be alerted to all our future videos. I appreciate the time you've taken out of your day to join us. I'll see you in the next one. I'm Lord Koss, and we are 50/50 Media.